Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Okay. Let me see who's here. And, okay, that's not where I need to be. But I can put this up. There we go. And, got a new member, huh? Bolus World, thank you so much for that. Got a new member. Thank you very much. And thank you for choosing Royal Sussex. Okay. Um, I didn't highlight that though, did I? Let me do that. And perfect. There we go. All right. And let me take this away so it's easier to see. Okay. There we go. Like that. Okay. So, Nancy Herlock, you were here first. Very nice. Thank you so much for that. Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. Okay. Backfires? What's going to backfire? It has backfired for that woman and her daughter. What woman? Oh, that sounds interesting. Hey, Annie Bullard. Fancy, fancy. Okay, well, I'm just going to scroll all the way to the beginning. I see there's a new member, so I don't suppose there's anything else I need to see. Hey, Sheila Watson. Okay, very good. So let's get into it, shall we? Jean Manafee, hi. Elaine Parker. Mo Shannon, Teresa McDougall, very cool. All right, let me see if I can do this in like an hour. I'm not going to be as chatty today. Oh, there we go. There we go. Get to the next slide. All right, so Prince Harry speaks German during a speech at Invictus Game event in Berlin where he thanks supporters. We talked about that yesterday, but just for fun, since I went through all the trouble, let's do that again.
So exciting. I've long believed that the service community across the globe deserves to be cheered as much as the most popular professional sports teams. With Invictus Games, that's what they get. Support. We are just 100. Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. First and foremost, I would like to thank Prime Minister Wust, members of Parliament, Team Germany, and all those gathered here tonight for your continued support.
So that was the extent of the German. It was just a greeting. If you would have blinked, you'd have missed it. But because the world is always so hungry for any and every update for the Sussexes, for some reason that was trending today. I'm here for it. All right, so this little bit right here. Oh, I'm going to have to play a soundbite for you guys. I want you to hear it for yourselves. I know some of you guys are not on Twitter. If you do have Twitter, then you know that on the Twitter, I was going to say the chitter, on the Twitter streets, people have been getting a good laugh out of this one. But you guys, I have like this really weird, this propaganda. I'm going to talk about that too, mostly is the propaganda. There's so much propaganda wrapped around this uh, coronation because it's as though you know how the queen used to say she would wear bright colors because people needed to see her to believe her. Hey, Big Mama, Chantel Rowe. Well, now it seems like they are not going to take any chances with the majesty of the monarchy itself. They have, I guess, they've started leaning even heavier on the publishers of these propaganda rags. And it kind of makes me nervous. It kind of makes me nervous. And I'm going to tell you why. Because desperation, desperation is always nerve wracking for me because when a person is desperate, um, you never know what they're capable of, and that's what bothers me about everything that's happening right now, is because of the shameless desperation. So I'm going to let you hear this, and then we'll talk about it. It's kind of short, but we'll talk about it on the other side.
Or that have yes, in fact, I told him the other day that he should definitely talk more to the Pilgrim Bandits, who's this extraordinary group of veterans that are SAS veterans that are amputees or that have been through really, really difficult times. They've been on IUDs. One of them, Matt, got a Victoria Cross from his work in Afghanistan and fighting for the nation. And I think it's very important that people out there is to focus on what you can do to bring others a bit of joy that are in less fortunate positions than yourself. And with Prince Andrew, he's such a good man. He's a kind, good man. And I think the spotlight needs to come off him and let him get on with his life to rebuild.
Okay.
For the sake of your daughter,
we must mention
and grandchildren. He's a very good he's a very good grandfather. Yes, in fact, I told him.
Let's do that last bit again about
Fortunate
him being
positions than yourself. And with Prince Andrew, he's such a good man. He's a kind, good man. And I think the spotlight needs to come off him and let him get on with his life to rebuild.
Okay.
For the sake of your daughter,
we must mention
and grandchildren. He's a very good He's a very good.
I don't know what to say. I mean, there's a lot of people that are, oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to adjust my microphone. Oh, wait, that's weird. Okay, so there's a lot of grandfathers that you can say is a good granddad. Yes, Black Queen. If you're asking about Sarah the Toe Suck Ferguson, that was this morning. Oddly enough, that was this morning. Well, we know that they're trying to reform his image. It is the wholesale rejection of anything Sussex, right? If this was anybody trying to tell you how great the Sussexes are or how wonderful they are, it would have been nothing but pushback. Nothing but pushback, relentless pushback. But this, yeah, exactly. The caucasity. Yeah, if it was, and Omen Scobie, he tweeted that clip and he says, thoughts? Well, I don't know what to say. It's a lot of nerves. I'm wondering, does she get paid for these interviews or how many of them she gets paid for? It's one thing that she's promoting a book, but it seems like her promotion of this book has really turned into a bit of a propaganda. And you'll notice that Fergie speaks, by the way, thank you, Marcy Foreman, for your comment. You'll notice that she speaks in a different voice depending on who she's speaking to and which country she's in. So she wants to defend him. Fine. That is her ex-husband. They share 2 children together, and who knows what else they share. But whatever the case may be, I'm sure their relationship is quite amicable, that is, since the divorce. They have remained friends. And she's on television defending the baby's daddy. That's the long and the short of it. But the zero pushback whatsoever. he's a good man. He's a great grandfather. It's as though she had her talking points all prepared, and she went out there and she did what she had to do. I'll say this much for her: she makes a more compelling interview than Andrew. Well, no, I take that back. Andrew is super compelling. Let me just say, she didn't hurt herself with this interview. And if anything, she helped him. But that was this morning. And I'm just like, wow. And of course, I started going through my little notes that I keep. And there you have it. The headline says it all: whom the palace chooses to protect. Andrew is protected. And this is not just a promise to the queen. Andrew is going to go back into full-time working royal, full-time working royal. And the reason why I feel so anxious is because I feel like they're playing with fire. I feel like they're playing with fire, and whatever happens, whoever gets burned, they're going to try to blame the Sussexes for it. Their decline in the polls, the lack of interest in the um, coronation, they're already trying to blame Harry's book. They're trying to blame the Oprah Winfrey. I mean, they still won't let go of Oprah Winfrey. There's a few things at play, but the nerves of her to try to and look over her shoulder. There's a picture of her with Beatrice or Eugenie. There's a picture of her with, actually, probably several photos of her with Diana. I can't really tell, but I think there's at least two photos of Diana I see back there. And you know what? It doesn't work until it works. And I think that this is part of a much larger plan. And of course, let me see. The person who has the closest friendship with the media right now is probably, not even probably, it is Camilla. Camilla has the most allies in the press. Charles has his allies, of course, because he's king. Although they don't seem to show him as much deference and consideration as they actually extend to Camilla, because they say absolutely nothing disparaging about her. I don't think that it's a book. I don't think it's a book, because if Andrew writes a book, he will open himself up to a level of scrutiny that he is trying to rid himself of. I think that Andrew's threat of a book is almost inconsequential. That he won't put enough in a book that would make it plausible enough to even resemble his life or his experience or anything like that. And he's not going to write a tell-all, get-even book, because outside of the UK, he's not really safe anywhere. I think the only place, because Andrew is in league with some heavy hitters, I tell you, and there's no place safer for him to be than within the confines of the royal family and their selection of properties. I don't think it's safe for him to go to any place else, because, I mean, consider what happened to his friend, right? So I think he would be unsafe if he goes anywhere outside of the United Kingdom. He puts himself at risk. So a tell-all book would open up a lot of scrutiny, and I don't think he wants that. The last thing he wants is for people to think about what he's not saying. And the last thing he's going to do is to try to explain his relationship with his friend that died mysteriously in a federal jail in New York. That's the last thing that he wants to do. He wants to hide in plain sight. And that's a good idea. I mean, if I was in any way responsible for his PR moving forward, I would say just hide in plain sight. It worked for Camilla. But yeah, it was Let's do that one more time, shall we? Do you guys mind? Do you mind? Let's do that one more time. And let's see if we missed anything. I want to know if we missed anything. Let's do that one more time.
Yes, in fact, I told him the other day that he should definitely talk more to the Pilgrim Bandits, who's this extraordinary group of veterans that are SAS veterans, that are amputees or that have been through really, really difficult times. They've been on IUDs. One of them, Matt, got a Victoria Cross from his work in Afghanistan and fighting for the nation. And I think it's very important that people out there is to focus on what you can do to bring others a bit of joy that are in less fortunate positions than yourself. And with Prince Andrew, he's such a good man. He's a kind, good man. And I think the spotlight needs to come off him and let him get on with his life to rebuild.
Okay.
For the sake of your daughter.
We must
well,
mention
and grandchildren. He's a very good he's a very good grandfather. In fact, I told him the other day that he should definitely talk more to the Pilgrim Bandits, who's this extraordinary group of veterans that are...
I know what I missed. Remember, I just said, let me do that again in case I missed something. For the sake of your grandchildren. For the sake of your grandchildren. Did you hear one of the hosts say that? For the sake of your grandchildren. And then, of course, Fergie chimes in. Well, he's a good grandfather. He is a very good grandfather. For the sake of your grandchildren. So she was not invited there for any amount of pushback. She was simply there to try to normalize the reintroduction of Andrew into public service. That is what it is. Nothing else. I don't care what else they talked about in the interview. Her mission is to reintroduce him into public duty. Now, let's do a little flashback here. He went to church. He did the Christmas walk, right? He did the Easter walk, okay? And he proudly strutted around in his mother's funeral procession. Okay, that one, I'm going to give him that one. But the other one's totally unnecessary for him to be connected to that. This is who the palace chooses to protect. Meghan and Harry are not living off of the public dole. They're not accepting any crown estate or any money from Charles. They are totally self-sufficient. And yet they are the villains. They are the ones that are vilified by the institution, by the press, and by several members that is, of the public, whereas Andrew seems to be okay. Now, there seemed to be a bit of shock that he was there at Christmas time, but Kimco says, Andrew talking to disabled veterans, a little piggybacking off of Harry's Invictus. What group of any kind would want that person to represent them? Yeah, you know what? That is a good point, Kimco. It is piggybacking off of Harry. It is hoping to use that as a leverage back into public duty. Whereas there doesn't seem to be enough of a wounded warriors community in the UK. If you ask me, it doesn't seem like there's enough of it. Now, I may be ignorant as to, things that are available that I'm unaware of, but if it wasn't for Harry is what put the support of wounded, injured veterans on the front page constantly. Andrew's not going to do that. And there's no equivalency between anything to do with Harry and Andrew, except they are both veterans of war. And that's where it ends. That is absolutely where it ends. And so there Andrew is doing the Christmas walk, and you can see how shocked people were to see him. You don't see this overwhelming, um, outpour of emotions. And just as I said yesterday, when someone mentioned that, well, the person that he was with was of a certain age and that wasn't necessarily illegal. The point is, there was a power dynamic. There's also his responsibility as a prince of the realm, and moreover, where where how they met, how they met, and the words I'm avoiding saying about what was the accusations were. Um, that is where the problem is. That is where the problem comes from. No different than a school teacher and a student, no matter how, what university or college, there is still a power dynamic there. There's still, a responsibility, a moral, and in some cases, legal responsibility to stay in your lane. Same as with the military, same as with a lot of institutions where that would be unheard of, or at least, should I say, outside of the rule book, or it could even get you in a lot of trouble. So, um, oh man, the desperation. And moreover, all you can do is just add him to the group that you see on the screen. So you got Charles, Camilla, William, Kate, Uncle Pennywise, Ford Fiesta, Afro Annie, her husband, and now you're going to have Andrew back into the fold. I'm sure of that. Everybody else is probably too old. Beatrice and Eugenie, not interested. And of course, the Tyndalls, not likely. And so this is the group plus Andrew that is going to carry them through at least the next 10 years, maybe 10, 12 years. That's your group right there. The only thing that would be exciting is if somebody within that group dies. That is what would change that trajectory, is if one of them dies. Otherwise, it's going to be a drought within that institution. And so they are so desperate that they are willing to bring Andrew back. And I'm convinced that that is with the consent of Charles. Guys, I am just a little. Some part of me is just really shocked, and there's another part of me that's like, kind of like watching a train wreck, a car wreck. I know I shouldn't watch. It's going to be pretty gory and messy, but I can't look the other way. I cannot look the other way. Lane Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Thursday to you. I can't look the other way, you guys. I just can't. And it's like, I'm curious to see how they spin it. You know what I mean? As though I'm just curious to see how they're going to justify Andrew, because I'm convinced that they want him back and they want him as a working royal. And I guess they're going to test the waters. I would say they're going to put their toes in the water, but in her case, I'm going to say they're going to put her toe in somebody's mouth and then see how it plays out. And then here you have, if people cannot get excited about a coronation for the first for 70 years, what does the country get worked up about anymore? Writes Philip Johnston. Well, what they really got excited about was a royal wedding back in 2018, the biggest event since, I don't know, when Diana married. I'm going to say it was the biggest event since then. It was truly an event that was more colorful in more ways than one. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. It was more colorful. It was more inclusive, right? And from that, hope springs eternal. But since you have chased the Sussexes away, there's nothing to get excited about. I mean, seriously, nothing to get excited about. You're going to have some pensioners for the concert for the coronation, plus right wing Katy Perry. Time to end this coronation apathy and show that Britain can be bothered. Weird wording, but I say nay. Not only is it Britain can't be bothered, but there's no, leading up to the royal wedding of the Sussexes, there was a fever that swept the globe, right? And even for Will and Kate, people were still reminiscent about Diana and him. So that was exciting for some people. I didn't bother to watch. I only saw portions of it since Royal Sussex. Other than that, I I'm surprised that I wasn't excited about it, but then again, I just wasn't. I wasn't excited about it. And I know I wasn't. Otherwise, I would have gotten up early to watch it. And I didn't. I was up early to watch Charles and Diana. God, I hate saying his name, but with hers. But I didn't get up to watch that. Of course, I watched, the Sussexes. I was in the crowd when that happened. So I had to watch it later. But other than that, there was no excitement there. Not like they, but it was still better than the coronation. Now, this is something that has only happened. Um, this is twice in the past, 100 years? Wait, when did her father take the throne? Okay, maybe three times in the past 100 years. Well, either way, there hasn't been that many of them. They haven't had one in 70 years. So for most people on the planet, none of us were alive during the last coronation. And it should be exciting. It should be entertaining, but it is tainted with the two people that are the focus of the coronation. It has been tainted. I don't know if that's cruel to say that, but it's true. It's offensive to some people. I just watched a documentary, not documentary, but I just watched the guy speak about the involvement of Charles and Camilla and the sacred oaths and Charles defender of faith rather than the faith, and how problematic that is to some people. And I guess we are just so um bored with it that we just haven't really taken much notice of how they are stretching people's patience with this couple. And then to try to bring Andrew back into it, I'm just like, I'm not trying to be helpful to them. I'm just saying I'm surprised at how ridiculous they are. Cookies and Cream says, we have social media. We need to use it aggressively to remind people of Prince Android's behavior. They've been attacking Meghan as a diversion to keep the focus off of Andrew's mess. Yeah, I mean that is part of the tactic. That is part of it. There's other stuff that they're using the Sussexes for, but that is part of it. Definitely. I'm just like, wow. That's all I can say is wow. The boldness of this plan. That whole family is full of people like that and degenerates, so I'm not surprised. Yeah. Um well, it's not my concern really, just the Sussexes are my concern. So But still, I have to tell you, I am shocked. So here you have. Do you think the coronation of King Charles should be, or I'm sorry, do you think the coronation of King Charles should or should not be funded by the government? 32% says, wait a minute. Yeah, should. And should not is 51%. And don't know is 18%. So at least a little over half of the people for certain say no. And the don't knows, well, they just don't really care. But then if you look at the breakdown of the age groups, should not with the younger people is 62%, and then 25 to 49 is 55%, and then you don't really get above water until you get to like 50 to 64 and 65 plus. So um, not really helpful, but I guess it doesn't make a difference because it's going to happen anyway. It's bought and paid for. It's on the government debit card, if you will. So what difference does it make? Yeah, who would be excited to see wicked and vulgar people like the tampons, especially at this juncture? All we think about is how Queen Diana was tortured by these two devils. Sad day for Harry too. Yeah, and I am more certain that it was a bad idea for Harry to go. I know he has to go for whatever reason, which is not privileged information for us, but um, I'm sure he's got his reasons for going. Uh, yeah, yeah. Well, but Harry's interest with the global veterans community, and that's Harry's interest is global. And there's no way in the world Andrew's interest with the veterans is ever going to have the reach that Harry's has. Within the UK, I don't know that he really would lose any ground there because the government doesn't really support anything that Harry does with the veterans. We actually saw that play out with The Hague. So I don't think that there's a lot to lose. So I don't think it's so much about trying to take something away from Harry, except just trying to equate Harry's success and Harry's connection and warmth with that community and to somehow create or leverage some type of cause for, um, and even worse, the idea that they could somehow try to send him with the delegation from Britain. Oh, God, God help me. If they try to send that monster to Dusseldorf, that would be a disaster. If they even tried to send that monster to Dusseldorf, I don't suppose he would have the freedom to. Um, oh, I don't know. I even hate to think about it. But what if they try to send that monster to Dusseldorf, or and if not Dusseldorf, the next event as part of like the British delegation? Now that would be a nightmare. So, yeah, I don't think that there's the ability to outshine Harry, least of all outside of that island. But other places, or should I say, places within the island, I think they're just testing the waters. I don't think it's going to go as far as they think it could, but they are not trying to make work for him or try to give him work. They're just trying to tear down the barriers that I guess the oddity of seeing him doing things publicly. That's what they're trying to do is to eliminate that awkwardness by pushing him out there. So it may start with veterans, but I think essentially he is going to end up all over the place. With charities and such. So that would probably be just one ingredient of a greater thing that they're trying to put together. But thank you so much. Is it Manevo Shep? Thank you so much for your comment. And who knows, you might be right. But I don't think that he could take the shine away from Harry. It would be a fool's errand. Joyce Falls says, when this new docuseries come out about Andrew, it's just going to remind everyone of what he did. So whatsoever Fergie's may be trying to do, I don't think it's going to work. He may be back, but it's tainted. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Joyce Falls. That's what I'm thinking, is that they're just trying to normalize his presence. But, how far will that go? Anastasia Isabella says, Cheryl, a friend of mine, said that she believes that they are trying to push Kate out of the picture with the story of her being related to the Kennedy family and other famous people. That's interesting. That is interesting. So, BW. Sorry to be late, but showing my appreciation. Thank you, BW, and thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. So, BW, I'll try to look out for your response, but are you still on holiday? You're still celebrating the anniversary? Are you going to another country? Because I always say when you're, I don't know if you live in Europe, but if you're not from Europe and you go to Europe, I always say it's a good idea to try to go to 2 different countries, 2 like big cities, while you're there, because, why not, right? So the first time I went to the UK, of course, I'm like, well, if Paris is that close, I gotta go. So I made sure I went to Paris on that same trip, and I was only there for 48 hours in and out. But it was everything that I dreamed of. So thank you very much, BW, and please stay safe and enjoy your time. And congratulations for 24 years of marriage. Outstanding. Yes, Leslie F. Maybe that's what it is. If they can show him being responsible. Prince Andrew wanted to be the patron of the estate parks, like a park ranger, and Prince Charles told him no. So, yeah, if they can, I don't think the military is the ultimate end of his rise back to royal duty. I think it's just part of normalizing his presence in the public. But maybe if he can prove that he's, somewhat normal again or accepted, then maybe he will get a posh appointment like that, where he can ride around in a Range Rover and look capable and intelligent. I said, look. Thank you so much, Black Queen. That's a good idea. Hey, Black Queen, how are you today? BW says, nope. I just did a month in Portugal, here in Spain for another week, but live in the US. Wow, Portugal is so beautiful. And you are there at the perfect time of the year. I'm guessing the days are like warm and dry, and the nights are kind of chilly, but it's going to start to warm up for sure. But now is a good time of year to be there. Well, that is amazing, and I hope you are enjoying yourself and having the time of your life. And I think Portugal is where they have those custards, or is it in Spain, or is it both? But those custards where it's kind of dark on the top, and those are so good. Those are so good. Oh, I could just bite into one. I am literally sitting here just reminiscing about the fragrance, the scent of it. It just, I think it's cinnamon. You can smell that cinnamon, and they're so buttery and delicious, and the crust is so light and flaky. Anyway, what was we talking about? What were we talking about? But yes, thank you again for the super chat, and thanks for the update. Enjoy. Let's see. Cheryl W says, you mean the, what is it, Basque cakes? It's in Spain. And BW says, Portugal has the custard tarts. Okay. Okay, that's what it is. I think that's right. The custard tarts. I must be Portugal. Oh well, they were so good. I couldn't remember. I think in Spain, I like ate a bunch of those ham sandwiches, and then in Portugal, I ate the custard tarts. Yep. But yeah, every place I went, I'm telling you. And when I went to Cologne, it was one sausage after the other. I literally belched my way out of Germany. I was just so gassy and bloated and satisfied with those sausages with the currywurst sauce. I had never heard of currywurst, but it was good. They just give you that strange little three-pronged fork that doesn't really do anything. Um, Pick your tooth with it. But anyway, let me stop thinking about that stuff. Uh, King Charles wants a coronation that represents the times and people of this nation. However, the royal family and household have created an environment where his daughter in law, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, the first mixed race princess, would rather stay away. Very sad. And, you know, well, I'm thinking about that right there, that Megan would rather stay away. And, obviously the whole booing thing, that didn't make any sense. But I'm just wondering what the streets are going to be like. The idea that there's going to be massive protests, is that going to keep some people away? Um, are people just not very interested? Will that keep people away? I think we will know how much enthusiasm there is based on how many people are actually camping out. That is a good indicator of how much interest there is how many people are actually camping out. But this is not the coronation that I thought it would be. I thought that people would be so hungry for a chance to witness history that this is just shocking to me. I just thought people would be more celebratory, more excited about it, and it's anything but that. And they have nobody to blame but themselves. The way that they treated Meghan and Harry at the Queen's funeral, I think that is still resonating with people. The way that Diana's memory has been misrepresented deliberately through documentaries, through these interviews, through these so called royal experts, that is something that is so alarming to me. Let me see here. Okay. Huh, all right. Let me see here. Joyce Bo says there are going to be the regulars who will be camping out, but we will have to see how the Cotton Nation turns out. Yeah, the regulars for sure. Like that one guy, I forget his name, but he's at every event. That little guy, him and a few other people that are at every event. Okay, so now right here, I got to pull that down so I can see it. It's unbelievably sinister. I've just spent 10 minutes and found dozens of books of royal propaganda aimed at 0 to 6-year-olds. The whole thing has to be stopped. How about that? How about that? So these are just handful of books. I hope that's the entire bulk of them, but there may be more. And then the two on the right side, those are, well, the one at the top, we talked about that one the other day. And then the one at the bottom is just another one that I found when I was kind of digging into this. But take a look here. These are the indoctrination propaganda books that have been put out for the coronation. And there's nothing wrong with that because they are trying to make the kids be an active part of history. But at the same time, they are not really seeing a popular monarch ascending to the throne. They're not really seeing someone who has the moral fortitude necessary to be king. They're seeing someone who is a deeply flawed individual. And maybe that is the lesson that needs to be learned, is that you can be a very flawed individual. You can take your mistress to work, so to speak, and both of you who have had an adulterous relationship can be the at the top of the pyramid when it comes to society, and it's okay. You don't have to put in the work. You just have to show up. So I guess Camilla put the work in. I mean, she made the alliances necessary to make her situation possible. But yeah, so those are some books. And then here's a few more. Here is a few more. But these are for the children. And listen, I'm just wondering how well they're selling. I'm wondering how well are these books selling, or are they going to go to like the pound store? You can find these at the pound store, I'm sure. And of course, right here, his father was a practical man who wanted his son to stand on his own 2 feet. He sent him to a boarding school where the future king could rub shoulders with other boys. Far from home, Charles felt quite alone. Well, I guess this is like in one of the books explaining how Charles had to overcome the loneliness and isolation. Now, I wonder if the book actually explains how, as soon as nobody was looking, or maybe they didn't care if people were looking, they beat the snot out of him in school, according to Charles and other reports. They pulled his ears. They bullied him. He was bullied at school. And there wasn't much he could do about it. And scary enough, the only person who seemed to take an interest in him was Uncle Louis Mountbatten. God help him. I could only imagine the height of assistance that was available for him, the level of care and concern that was there for Charles. Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe nobody should know. And so, okay, propaganda again. This is indeed failed today. Britain's verdict on King Charles. Poll for Mail Online new royal site reveals monarch is defying his critics with strong public backing. Not really. They're trying to gaslight us into thinking, will you watch? 50% says yes. That's not true. This is a poll that was conducted by the Daily Mail. They even said that this is one of their polls. So, of course, the numbers look favorable. Although 50% is not a lot. It is half, but still, you would expect it to be more. If you have like 50%, 52% approval for the monarchy or Charles or whatever, you would just expect that number to be greater. Let me see. Have your opinion changed of Charles since he became king? 60% says same, 26% says better, and 7% says worse. I just don't believe these numbers. This is a poll from the Daily Mail. It's not YouGov, it's Daily Mail. YouGov already has a very biased slant to it. I think this is worse. And then over there, Harry should be charged with treason. These are the words of Nana, I believe. Uh, let me see. Meghan used the racism narrative. Oh, I got to pull that down. I can't see it. When she didn't get what she wanted. Gary Lineker is deluded, and Black Lives Matter is Marxist. Meet our new columnist, Nana Akua. Akua, yeah. So Nana, with all of that vitriol, with all of that hatred and such that she has been throwing at the Sussexes, looks like it's paid off, right? It looks as though it has paid off for her because now she's going to be writing for the Fail. And of course, she has that podcast with what's her name? What's that little troll's name? Angela Levin. Yeah, so she and Angela, they are on the couch together, doing a chat about guess what? The Sussexes. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what I need. And of course, let's do the last one on the bottom right. Introducing our new Daily Mail Royal TikTok. That is the one that gets me. The Daily Mail Royal TikTok. Okay, let me tell you something, guys. If Daily Mail is on TikTok, the reason why they are trying to get TikTok is because there are so many people that are trashing the royal family on TikTok, trashing the tabloids on TikTok, that they are trying to change the narrative by getting their own TikTok going. That's the only reason why they're doing that, is that they're trying to stop the bleeding. That's it. Yep. Daily Mail on TikTok. What could possibly go wrong? They are trying to stop the bleeding because they want to bring in younger readers, viewers, whatever. They're a sinking ship. This is nothing more than an indication of how desperate they have become. Wait. Which one? The one on the left or the right? Because either way, they're not of this world. They're an anomaly. Yeah, they are not of this world. Either one of them. So I guess I'm going to sum up this part of today by saying this. Look at the Queen. Look at the Queen. She is barely making it in this photo. She has a stick. Her eyes are super red. And as you can see, her clothes are just hanging on her. And I think that they kept rolling her out there. I think they kept rolling her out there because they wanted to make sure that people accepted the future of the monarchy. I think they just want to make sure that there's a continuation of popularity and support. And so even, let's see, where is it? I got to find it. Ascension Day 2022, 70 years on the throne. And that is when the Queen asked people to accept Camilla as the Queen consort, only for Charles to circle around back to the same thing and say, oh no, do not call her the consort, just call her the Queen. Yeah. I can't help but think that the Queen should have retired. Not retired. Well, yeah, retired. That's the word, retired. She didn't have to abdicate. She could have just stayed out of the public. And if that's what Charles wanted, it would have happened, even if the Queen didn't want it. But yeah, I saw this and I just felt really, really sad thinking about Harry saying, I want to make sure the right people are around my grandmother. Yep. That it's upsetting. It's really upsetting. No matter what the Queen did or did not do, at this point, that is a woman who's barely alive. And she's being paraded around for whatever reason. But I think really the only thing that was there was to the only purpose of it was to shore up support for Camilla and for Charles. And who knows, one of these days that may be Charles in that very same position. Although I don't think so, because I don't think William is going to want his father. I don't think William is going to want his father to hang around with all of the scandals that are attached to him. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what the point of this was. I don't know what the point of dragging her around like this was, but it just lets you know that this institution is sinking. It is sinking. Mad World says, Baron, she couldn't step down because she knew what Charles would be like as a king, in my opinion. She caved on support of Camilla to keep Charles from coming for her throne. Yeah. Um, there was a bit of coercion. I really do believe there was a bit of coercion at some point toward the end. Well, yeah, you can barely see it in the photos, but her eyes are super red. And it was like that when she went to that G7 summit. Um, but the Queen probably knew that she wasn't going to make it another year in 2022. I'm pretty sure she knew that she wasn't going to last a year. And in spite of that, they propped her up, they medicated her, and did everything they could to keep pushing her along all the way up until it just didn't work anymore. Leg says, I think the point of this picture was that QE2 supports Camilla, although she can barely support her own weight. Yeah, Legs. When I saw that, I don't know how come I've never seen this photo before, but I just found it today, and I'm just like, God, that looks bad. So, man, I don't even know when this photo was taken, but it must have been, I guess it may be the time when Camilla was inducted into the whatever that order of the thistle or God, what is it, the order of the garter. I guess it was that occasion when Camilla was inducted into the order of the garter. Could you imagine all of the big aristocrats in the order of the garter, and Camilla is in the same room with these people? And I'm pretty sure that they're wondering, why is she there? Why is she there? It took when the Queen was on her way out to get Camilla into the order of the garter. I hope that there's a book that comes out that will tell the truth about this. I don't know when they will finally get enough courage to tell the truth about the Queen's last days. I don't want Harry to do it, not completely. I want someone to tell the truth. I want someone to tell the truth. I have been trying to, sort this one out for the longest because it would explain a lot of how stuff degraded so quickly that Harry and Meghan had to leave. That's why I want to know exactly what was happening with the Queen at this time. I really want to know that. Good or bad, I want to know. I want to know the truth about it. So anyway, thank you so much, Legs, for the super chat. Yeah, you guys, I just have this really weird feeling about this coronation. Like, I think they are overplaying their hand. I think that this is, I don't even want Harry there. I don't even want Harry there. And for you guys who kept saying that neither one of them should go, um, I know it took me a while to get there, but I'm like, yeah, before I was like, well, let them decide. And I still think that's the best remedy, is to let them decide. But at this point, if it were up to me, I'd be like, nah, stay away from there. But yeah, so there's Camilla at the blessing ceremony, not the wedding, but the blessing ceremony, because they couldn't be married in the Church of England because of the nature of their relationship. And there's Harry doing exactly what I suppose he'll be doing on the coronation day. But yeah, I feel like a certain feeling of loss for Diana right now. That's what I'm feeling. I feel like this feeling of loss for Diana. Like, it's just really necessary to make sure, or at least I'm going to try it for myself, just to make sure that Diana's not forgotten. But I've been thinking, like, the past couple of days, about the way that they have done so much to try to erase her from people's memory, or to try to brand her as some type of mentally ill, vindictive person, and absolving Charles of any responsibility for the breakdown of their marriage, and trying to paint this picture of this inevitable love affair, this sweeping drama, this epic love story of the ages, Charles and Camilla, how duty kept them apart. Oh God, I'm gonna vomit. Pomerose says Harry needs to pop in. They hop back on that plane and get home. I'm sorry, then and hop back on that plane and get home for the party. Folks are not feeling Camilla. Diana's ghost is gonna be heavy on that day. Yeah, yeah. I feel like I fell. I bumped my head, and I woke up years later, and I found out Donald Trump was president, and Camilla is about to be crowned Queen Camilla. It's as though I have stepped inside the looking glass. I don't know why this is just so weird to me. It feels odd. It really feels odd. Let's see. Connie Baumer says losing Diana was really bad. They have to remember her on that day as we celebrate Archie's birthday. Yeah. Yeah. They have successfully made it possible for Camilla to be in this position. But I'm disappointed by the lack of pushback from the public. Thank you, Connie Balmer. Queen Camilla defiles Diana's memory. And the other day, I found that, I guess this must have been from like a magazine or something. I found that picture on the web. And when I look at it, everybody who was very important to Harry is in that photo. Everyone who was important to him until he got married is in that photo. His brother, his grandmother, well, lacking what's his name? Philip, of course. I think he was very close to Philip. But that was his world. That was his world. Those were the people that he was closest to in that family. And now he doesn't have any of them. Now he doesn't have any of them. He doesn't have the love and support of his grandmother. That was taken away through one means or the other, and then she died. And his brother, gone. He's not available there. His father, he has given in to that serpent. So where does that leave Harry? I mean, he has his family in California, but it's as though a whole chunk of his life the first 30-something years of his life has just been nipped away. And, and so now he has another life. And that's got to be odd for him. That must be very odd. Yeah. Let me see. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Is for the best for Harry. Yeah, I mean, change is inevitable. He won't be the first person, and he won't be the last who has immigrated to another country and had to start another life. You know, especially if you think about in ancient times, if you left and you went to the New World or another country or something like that, there was a good chance you would never see your family again. Especially if you sailed over on the ship, you'd never see your family again. So these are modern times, but still it applies. You can't go back. You cannot unring that bell. Let's see. Mary H says, Baron, in due season, all this evil will come to the surface. Duchess Meghan's dad will confess who paid him to hurt his own daughter. All of this slandering will come out. Well, we got a little sample of what he had to say before, didn't we? And that's allegedly paid him to hurt his daughter. I have to say that for the lawyers. Leg said, thank you for your comment. Leg says, they're already scheming to make Harry stay for the concert. They're trying to use Harry for his popularity. It won't sure up his expensive waste of time coronation. And let's see, they are emotionally toxic. Yeah, like I said, it's so true. They are emotionally toxic. It's a very, very toxic family, a toxic institution. And I'm still amazed, even now, I'm still amazed that there's such a lack of concern for one another in that family, for one another's well-being, as though they're not related, as though they're just co-workers or something. So what an awful system to grow up in. It's amazing what Harry has survived. I mean, just that 400 pages of his book could not possibly tell the whole story. So it's amazing that he survived and became such a well-rounded, hardworking individual in spite of everything that was thrown at him. Thank you so much, Lex. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. So there are going to be 6,000 soldiers on the streets of London. 6,000 members of the armed forces. 6,000. 6,000. There's going to be the biggest military gathering, I guess they said, for 70 years. It's going to be huge. Annie Bullard says, Baron, we can love our families from a distance. I hope one day Harry realized that and move on. Yeah, he has no choice, does he? Because it's not really much for him to go back to. And I guess taking his home away from him was a way of saying you're not welcome back. So yeah, that sounds very true. And then of course here. Now this is a whole different thing. Let me get into this. Not completely different, but let me get into this one because this one is kind of like, well, anyway. Where's my break beat? There we go. Okay. So at first it was like, who in the world is trying to sabotage Kate? And then this was in page 6 on the 18th. I don't know how I missed it, but short-tempered Prince William can be difficult to work with, says a royal expert. I think this was in the book by Robert Jobson. I believe that is from Robert Jobson's book. Short-tempered Prince William can be difficult to work with. And this was in page 6, so let's get that out the way. That is a Rupert Murdoch publication, right? Right there. Prince William is not always the easiest person to work with, according to what is that up there? Let me see. New Royal Book, and of course that book, of course, being the book by Robert Jobson, Our King, blah 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 blah. He can be difficult, as senior royal household figure told author Robert Jobson for his recently released biography, Our King Charles III, the Man and the Monarch Revealed. He is a driven person and can make him that can make him impatient. The source continued about the newly anointed, you hear that? Anointed Prince of Wales. The insider compared him to King Charles 74, who apparently possesses more patience. So I guess we have seen Charles let slip the mask and demonstrate exactly how hostile he can be when things are not going his way. And so here you can see they're letting you know Charles is also a very angry person and that he can be very temperamental. And William is much the same, except Charles is a little bit more patient. Well, Charles is 73. I mean, everybody slows down when they get older, right? Let's see here. Kathy Rose, this says, up to the lips, the cup may sip. Is that for me or is that a metaphor for something else? But yeah, I do have my coffee and water here. Mm-mm. Oh, Lord, how did I miss my mouth? Okay. All right. So, but thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex and being a member, by the way. Still a bargain at just $4.99. That's right, just $4.99. You can get a membership to Royal Sussex. And guess what comes with that membership? Not much. Okay, so there you have it. I'm just surprised that they even put this out there. William hostile, William angry, moody, petty, dare I say, just a bit evil. All of that. They're letting you know that William is a bad mother, hush your mouth. Shocking. That can make William short tempered when dealing with Charles. They added, the boss Charles has a temper too, but it does not go on and on. He can get frustrated and flare up, and then in an instant is forgotten about. With William, it is rarely forgotten. Huh. Okay. That makes sense. That means William may come after you and won't stop until he's smashed the doggy dish into your back. Jobson also revealed that Charles has been shocked by his son's sometimes vicious temper, which remind him of their late mother, Princess Diana's umbrage. Well, of course, they have been trying to brand Diana as this angry, malicious person. So this is a twofer. Whoever has encouraged these words in Jobson's book is obviously someone who wants to make sure that they can continue to taint the memory of Princess Diana, and also someone who wants to demonstrate that William is also an angry, malicious individual. I wonder who would be so interested in putting something like that out there. Let me see. Sounds like a horse has been hemming and hawing. Yeah, I think we're on the same track, Legs. I think we're on the same track. Again, thank you for your super chat. Yes. Let me go back to the end of this one. That's what I was trying to do. He knew that they were both strong-willed, stubborn. Even conflict would be very difficult to manage and could have a detrimental impact on the monarchy itself. The William at 40, Making of a Modern Monarch, author further writes, yes, he did write a book about William too, Robert Jobson did, for his 40th birthday. Sometimes the level of belligerence between his son and indeed toward him has shocked Charles. I believe that. I believe that, but that they're talking about it is surprising to me. As a matter of fact, Prince Harry, 38, wrote about many altercations he had with his brother William in his memoir Spare. The trio met after Prince Philip's funeral in April of 2021 in an attempt to repair the brothers' frayed relationship. Instead, the conversation quickly soured as the two brothers started getting heated, prompting their father to intervene. According to the Duke of Sussex, the king begged his sons not to make his final years a misery as they went back and forth with tempers flashing. So, there you go. Uh, but again, I'm surprised. And nobody else is talking about this. Everybody quoted the serialization of Jobson's book in the Daily Mail. So all of the papers were talking about that. And this is the 18th, and this is the only article in any of the publications that I've seen that mentions William's temper. Before they were making his temper a selling point. Now they have downplayed it so much that most people dare not speak of it, save for this from the book from Robert Jobson, and then them putting this in the page 6. You don't hear much about it. Very interesting. So both monarch and the heir are clueless idiots. But after the institution did first to Diana and Meghan, it needs to end now. Yes, so after what they did to Meghan and Diana, I say there's no worthy cause for that institution except to hand over the keys to the various households and for them to hang it up. They really need to be like a museum piece at this point. They don't have any logical purpose. And it's a platform, as I say, it's a platform that can do a world of good, but it's like anything else. You only get out of it what you put into it. And if you use that institution to leverage power and to make people's lives difficult and to use that power in a very coercive way, then I say, what is the point of the institution? It's only serving a handful of people, not the greater public. Pomerose says, have you ever heard William describe his kids? From the moment they were born, he sounded irritated by them. I don't think so, but it sounds very much in character for him. But I don't think I've ever heard him describe his kids. But I do recall how many times that he's verbally sparred with his brother in public and didn't care what anybody thought. He never seems to express any love or concern for his brother. Everything with William toward his brother is just one malicious word after the next.
Someone mentioned to Harry, how dark do you think the baby will be, and what do you think that'll look like? Now, the person who said it to Harry obviously was interested in shaking Harry to the core by saying this to him. Who would be so malicious to do something like that? I don't know, a sibling? And there's only two of them, but I would say a sibling.
I feel tempted to cry, God for Harry, England and St George, but I really don't want to lower the tone by bringing my brother into it. God for Harry, England and St George, but I really don't want to lower the tone by bringing my brother into it.
Well, it's a little dramatic, but it gets the job done. That's the way I saw it, so that is the way I portrayed it, as something super, super petty and sinister, very, very nasty. That is the way he treats his brother, and I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I'm gonna try to look for that because I remember how many times, like that whole thing about, yeah, now that he's getting married, Harry won't be coming over and going into my refrigerator, and I think that's why Harry put that in his book about never really being invited to Will and Kate's apartment at Kensington Palace so that he could dispel any belief that there was this close relationship between the two brothers. Harry made sure that the reader realized that any idea that there was this popping in and out like Kramer did not exist. Popping in and out like what was his name? Bruh Man on gosh, what show was that? Martin Lawrence. I mean, think of any sitcom where you have the character just pop in at will. That is what William wanted people to believe, is that Harry was just popping in there whenever he wanted to. And the truth is, he wasn't welcome, he wasn't invited, and it did not happen. It did not happen. He wasn't welcome to just pop in like that. Kathy Rosalou says that was for the horse. Oh, Charlie's emotional support. There's still time for the cup of sip. Cup to sip. Oh, thank you so much for that. And Coralita Simone. Oh, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Kathy Rose, thank you for the super chat. Thank you both for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. And let's see, we did this one as a matter of fact. Yep, I think we did that. Did we? Yes. Yes, we did that. Okay. So, and then here, in spite of all of the lies and misrepresentation that comes from Kensington Palace, one thing is for sure, they can't keep staff. They really cannot keep a staff. I think they had some problems with the staff because of some of the things that was happening with the Sussexes. So I think some of them were there to make life miserable for Harry and Meghan, or that became their job. And then others didn't like being caught in the middle, just like at the point where they had to like report about Meghan being a bully. And then the people that they alleged were complaining about Meghan were like, please take my name off of that report. I don't endorse that. I don't endorse that. Please take my name off the report. I think there was, 3 people? Please take my name off of that report. Now, there would be no real necessary reason to do that, because those people would surely have the protection of the institution. No matter what happened in the future, they would be protected by the institution. They would always be able to find work because of their connection to the institution. But in spite of that, people want it out of there. They cannot keep staff. People come and they go, and that's not a big deal because that happens in any institution. But you got to remember, some of these people that have worked for Charles, that have worked for the Queen, have been there for decades. And yet Will and Kate's people seem to come and go in just a couple years. I find that really strange. It is a posh position to have. You will travel the world with that institution or in their employ, right? You get all kind of perks with that, and still that's not enough to make people want to stay. And some of those people were recommended or related to other people who have worked for the institution. Very strange. Rumor was that Kate was always rude and nasty to the public. And there is a story about a dress shop in London where Kate and her mother allegedly were so rude and entitled to the employees. Wow. I could believe that though, because you know what? I didn't include that, but there was a story about how the people that worked for Party Pieces, they said that that was hell to work there. And that even if you had a dental appointment, that was not reason enough for you to have a day off. They worked them really hard at Party Pieces, according to some of the people who complained about Kate's mother. So I'm willing to believe that there is some validity to that one. Diamond Blue, thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's move on because I promised an hour and it's already an hour and a half. All right, so King Charles downgrades Kate Middleton ahead of coronation and makes Meghan the star. Buckingham Palace shocked the world after it was revealed a photo featuring exchange royals Harry and Meghan Markle. Let me see. I'm sorry, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, which it should be Princess Meghan, would appear in an official program for the king's coronation. Well, I didn't think about it like that, but they are, I'm not going to say it's equal billing for the Sussexes, but it is kind of strange that they have gone through so much trouble to try to exclude Harry and Meghan in the press. They have gone through so much trouble of not really giving them a prominent role in the coronation. So with all of that, well, you know what? Let me take that back. Maybe Harry and Meghan didn't want a role. But with all of that, then you still put them in a program. You couldn't put the children's titles on the royal website for how many months? 6 months. And now all of a sudden, you want to throw mom and pops in the program? Interesting, right? Let's see. Lenny says, hi, team. While Harry acknowledged his mental health issue, William will not fear he'd be labeled crazy, not fit to be king. Will has mental health issues. I believe that. Because for someone so bold and so gruff and so self-assured in all appearance, he is as weak as water, as evident by the fact that he cried when he left that stadium in Liverpool when he got booed. He didn't like that. He was in tears, quite emotional. He is like just ticking away, and at some point he is just gonna poof. Yeah, he is like, he's getting to that point. And maybe he's already had his implosion and people just are not aware of it. But yeah, he's got some problems. Thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right, so right here, a snub, disloyal. Either way, it won't stop the mutters about very different coronation. So as I said, Charles, his judgment seems to be rather impaired. One of the Queen's 2 surviving bridesmaids is not invited to King Charles' coronation. Daughter of Earl Mountbatten, Lady Pamela Hicks, 94, who saw George VI crowned, gets apology from Palace for not being among the 2,000 guests at Slim Down ceremony. Oh my God, if I hear Slim Down one more time. Pamela Hicks attended the Queen's funeral in a wheelchair last September. Buckingham Palace called today to say she will not be invited to the coronation. How Lady Pamela Hicks cemented her place in Her Majesty's inner circle as lady-in-waiting before assassination of her father rocked the royals. And you know what? I'm wondering, you hear that? Her father? I'm wondering if that's why she wasn't invited. I'll continue. King Charles said to have apologized to friends and family after they failed to receive invitations to his coronation. The latest confirmed to have been excluded is Lady Pamela Hicks, and who is one of the only two surviving bridesmaids from Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's wedding in 1947. And she's still alive. Lady Pamela, whose father, the first Earl Mountbatten of Burma, was Prince Philip's uncle, attended the Queen's funeral in a wheelchair last September. So, okay, not the biggest conspiracy theory, but I'm so glad that red cover did not move. Lord Louis Mountbatten, the royal alleged who was above the law. Now, I will let you fill in that blank yourself, but he was alleged, fill in the blank, and they thought he was above the law. There is a case that was going on in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, I believe, or was it Northern Ireland? But there was a case going on that was about was it a home that was supposed to help the youth. And anyway, there was someone who filed a case over there. Now, honestly, I haven't kept up with the case. So they said it could prove embarrassing to the royal family. Really? Her daughter, India Hicks, adopted a black child, a boy. Do tell. By the way, I love that chair she's sitting in. I love those chairs. That is gorgeous, isn't it? Purple leather. How often do you see that? I did not know that. Let me see. Lady Pamela put out a statement about not attending. In the words of Shakespeare, she's protests too much. Oh yeah, thou does protest too much. For an African woman, Nana Akua is a sellout who should necklace that's a little aggressive. Now, of course, we don't condone that. I had to think about that for a second. I think I know what that means, but yeah, we don't endorse anything like that around here. That's not a good idea. She's just doing what she's good at, and that's being malicious toward the Sussexes. But yeah, we don't endorse anything like that. Okay, so right here, President John F. Kennedy meets with Chief of Defense Staff of the British Armed Forces, Lord Louis Mountbatten, First Earl Mountbatten of Burma, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Lyman Lemnitzer. Oval Office, White House, Washington, D.C., 1961. Well, listen, they have a dossier on her dad. They have a dossier on her dad. And he has been accused of the worst of humanity's offenses. And so there has been a rift with that family for a long time. But still, it is rather odd because her father practically raised Charles III. He was like a surrogate father to Charles. Was he the godfather? He was like a surrogate father to Charles at a time when Charles found himself, how do I put it? He found himself lacking support from his parents. So he was like a father to Charles, a surrogate father. And they were very close, but he was also close to the Queen's uncle that abdicated, right? So Louis Mountbatten, these two families are so intertwined. As a matter of fact, they said that Louis Mountbatten conspired to get the Mountbatten name into the House of Windsor. into the House of Windsor. So, of course, the Queen was a Windsor. But everybody born to the Queen and so on will forever be known because of the George V patent. Was it George V that said that the name is no longer was it Goater, Cobbler, Peach Cobbler, whatever name they used to use. Now they are going to be the Windsors. And then when Philip married, he is a man and he wanted the family to have his name. So then the name became Mountbatten-Windsor. And they said that Louis was the one who orchestrated that, right? They said that Louis orchestrated that. So there you go. That was a orchestration from Louis. And right here, keeper of the Queen's secrets, snubbed from coronation, Lady Pamela Hicks cemented her place in Her Majesty's inner circle as bridesmaid in Lady in Waiting and Lady in Waiting before assassination of her father that rocked the royals. Pamela Hicks was one of the 8 bridesmaids at the Queen's wedding in 1947. She served as Queen's Lady in Waiting and traveled with her on royal tours. Oh, thank you. Saxe Coburg Gotha. Gotha. I thought that was Gothe. Gotha. No, I guess it's Gotha. Yeah. Gosh, what a name. Well, I thought Peach Cobbler was in there somewhere. Saxe Coburg Peach Cobbler. Yes, they anglophied the name. Thank you so much. Originally, it was Battenberg, but they didn't want to sound so German, so they anglophied the name by changing it to Mountbatten instead of Battenberg. Yeah, thank you so much for that. But yeah, that's true. They even changed that name. That was at a time when they were trying to be as un-German as possible, which is weird since they keep going over there speaking German. After the Queen's funeral last year, India said her mother hoped to be one of the few people to have attended 3 coronations by attending the coronation of Charles III. But she was informed on her 94th birthday. God, that stings. She was informed on her 94th birthday that she had failed to receive an invitation to the ceremony, which was to have a much smaller guest list than that of the Queen in 1953. Now, in 1953, they managed to squeeze 8,000 people into Westminster Abbey. And today, they're only going to put 2,000 people in there. You guys, let me say that one more time. On her 94th birthday, for her birthday, she was told, "You're not coming to the coronation." I know you thought you were going to be one of the few people in history that has been to 3 coronations, but guess what? You're not. Is that evil or malicious or what? You guys, Charles is making enemies among the aristocracy. Do you know how many lords there are, dukes and earls and barons and such that are titled gentry, landed gentry that are not welcome to come to the coronation? These are people who upheld the monarchy, whose family has gone bankrupt supporting the monarchs in history, and they're not entitled to come to the coronation. Lorna Williams, thank you for 12 months of membership. India Hicks was in Princess Diana's wedding. She was one of the little girls. Oh, yes, that's right. She still has the dress. I think I saw that on a documentary where she showed that little pitifully ugly dress. God, them dresses were ugly. I hate to say it, but at the time, I thought it was the 80s. Everything was big. But now I'm having second thoughts about that dress. Diana looked beautiful, but that dress was a monster. Let me see. Baron, that's how the monarchies get overthrown. Not the common folks piss off the aristocrats and they plot against the sovereign. Apparently, that's what they want. I'm just like, but why would you tell her that on her 94th birthday? And here, part of her legacy would have been attending 3 coronations, and you would take that away from her. You can't roll that little wheelchair somewhere up in Westminster Abbey. Surely there's room. Charles is oh man, I don't know what to say. He's just not that bright. He is not that bright. He's always been indecisive. He's always made some pretty poor judgments, decisions in his life. And this is just one of many. Just like bringing that Camilla to the throne. This may be what ends it all for the monarchy. I know people say that all the time, but seriously, this one may be that one domino that falls that brings everything down. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to find that right now, that picture I showed you guys the other day. Well, anyway, it's not that important, but I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. This is how you put 8,000 people into Westminster Abbey. If you've ever been there before, then you know that most of those seats that you see do not exist. To the you see where those people are by that blue curtain? See the blue curtain over there? That is scaffolding. That was built just for the occasion. There's not enough room. And then all of those, that second tier of seats that you see, the upper balcony, all of that was temporarily built for the Queen's coronation. That is how you put 8,000 people into Westminster Abbey. None of that is there now. That is all temporary. And Charles is pissing off a lot of people by not inviting them. He needs their support. But then again, he needs Harry. And look at where Harry is. Harry's in California. If he would have used some of that determination, hey, Shelley L., if he would have used some of that hubris to support his son and his daughter-in-law, he wouldn't be in trouble now. The reason why Charles needed Harry and William to approve, or to at least be in the same space with Camilla, was so that he and Camilla could hatch this diabolical plan to put her on the throne. To put her on the throne. And now they are paying Harry back with this constant briefing against him and his wife day after day. That is how you pay a person back. Good afternoon. Squatties, Charles III and his side piece are alienating people left and right and center. How cruel to deny a 94-year-old that opportunity. I'm telling you, that is, she may have achieved some things in her life, but having been said that I have gone to 3 coronations, right? That would have been just like another feather in her cap. And they took that away from her. And let's see, Duchess of Sussex got private audience with Queen Elizabeth II before Kate. The Queen felt Kate was lazy and had no work ethic. Queen Elizabeth praised Meghan for her work ethic. I'd say that is a monumental good statement. It is very true. And that is something that haunts Kate. Let's see. Sounds like Charles is remembering when he was kept from seeing his mother by someone who was keeping him from seeing the Queen. Yep. Thank you so much for that, Shelly L. Yeah, Charles is a vindictive. I mean, he's a Scorpio. You know, them Scorpios can be really shady. Oh, wait a minute, I'm a Scorpio. Those Scorpios are really, really shady, and that is how Charles is, very shady. And right here, to celebrate her 93rd birthday last year, Pamela Hicks was visited by some unusual animals, including a chinchilla. Would somebody tell her that's a rat? Would somebody please tell her that that is a rat, a big, giant, mutant rat? That is not a chinchilla. That is a rat. That is a huge, bloated, well fed royal reporter. There is a royal reporter sitting on her lap right now, and nobody's going to tell her. Chinchilla my behind. That is a royal reporter. That's Robert Jobson sitting on her lap. Wait, no, it couldn't be Robert Jobson. If it was, that sofa would be in two pieces by now. But I don't care what anybody say. That is not a chinchilla. That is a rat, a huge, beady-eyed rat. You guys remember when Paul Mooney said, every time white people do something like move into the ghetto, they'll say, well, it's a developing neighborhood. If they see roaches, they'll say, yeah, well, it's actually, we have a water bug problem. That's what Paul Mooney said. So in this case, if you give a rich white woman a pet rat, they'll say, actually, it's a chinchilla. Oh man. Just like, what was the name? They, instead of living in Harlem, they called it North did they call it North Midtown or something like that? They wanted it to be anything but Harlem. Yeah. They gave Harlem a different name. They gave it a different name. And the other one, Hell's Kitchen. Now they want to call Hell's Kitchen Chelsea. But they always change stuff. So that is no longer a rat. That is a chinchilla. Gwendolyn Daniels, hilarious. Barron, absolutely. Barron loved Paul Mooney. He was fabulous. Yeah, Paul Mooney said that. He said they would change things. So instead of living with roaches, they say, well, we had a water bug infestation. Look like roaches to me. Oh man. Just like sometimes you can bring home something from the Royal Ascot and call it a girlfriend. I mean, they change anything. Okay, you guys, I'm almost done. Cleopatra, African heritage in Netflix docudrama sparks uproar in Egypt. There's a movie or a docuseries, a docudrama that is, on Netflix or soon to be on Netflix, and people are upset because they cast a biracial woman of African descent to play Cleopatra. Let me see here. Pomerose says, I'll go one step further. Meghan got a private audience with the Queen quicker than Camilla did. Ooh, I like that. I like that. That is true. That is true. The Queen had no use for Camilla and avoided her for years. For years. Yeah, for years. And I haven't had any word yet, but I wonder how the corgis took to Camilla. Because if you remember, Harry said the corgis immediately just started laying at Meghan's feet, which, of course, if you want to impress a person, they're, if they have a dog, if the dog takes to you, then you must be okay. So I wonder, did they look at Camilla as competition, or as a rival, or what? I'd be curious to know that. But thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see here. So yes, this is causing an uproar because people don't like the fact that she's being played by a biracial woman. And then here, Queen Cleopatra. You can see the movie posters. Whatever the case is, the thing we don't know. There were blacks in Greece. There were blacks in Rome. And I don't think that there's any historical record that said one way or the other. And if she was born in Greece, it doesn't mean that she was, one thing or the other. I mean, they had anyone within those empires that were captured may have been a indentured servant, a slave. Not every slave was black. Most slaves at one time were white. So I don't think anybody knows. But the thing is, it's on Netflix. It's not an Egyptian production. It's produced by Netflix. Camilla will be the cow that breaks the monarchy's back. Yes, I think that they're stretching people's patience with Camilla. I really do believe that they are assuming way too much. They're testing people's patience. And who knows exactly how things are going to go at the coronation. I don't know of any organized anything to remember Diana with the coronation. But if there is, I would be very pleased. But thank you so much for your super chat. And not even just about Diana, but it's also about the Church of England. There are some people that think that is just an abomination. That they're inserting her into the Church of England at a coronation like that. Okay, so all right, so Adele James, that is the actress who's going to play Cleopatra. Yeah, that is who's going to play Cleopatra. So we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, that is something to think about. 6,000 military people on the streets. That would bump up the numbers at the coronation. That would make the presence look much larger. Everybody know Cleopatra was Elizabeth Taylor. Sheila Watson says, I think that would be a conversation where people agree to disagree about Cleopatra. I have no skin in the game. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it. I don't really care. But I'm just sharing the controversy with you. I think because there has been so many times in history where they have attempted to hide any black representation, that people are just naturally suspicious of anything and everything. Like, for instance, the contribution of black people in the history of Argentina. Well, Argentina, has made an effort to conceal any black presence in their history. And you could say that all over the North and South America and in the Caribbean, either black people didn't exist, or they were whitewashed, or somehow removed from history, downplayed in history. And that is the reason why it always becomes a contentious conversation about who was and who was not, is because there have been so many instances where black people have either been downplayed or removed from the history. Like I just mentioned the other day, that there was a large proportion of the cowboys in the Old West were black. But if you look at the movies, they were all white, exclusively all white. So, how does that happen? Diamond Blue, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So, thank you, everybody. I think I am done. Yes, I am. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And you guys, thank you for giving me an opportunity to vent my frustrations about this coronation. I hope it was somewhat informative for you. You guys always educate me about things. I have, willing or not, I have always learned a lot. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Well, let me see if I can do that right now. Nope, I don't want to do that. Huh. Well, I better not try that right now. Yeah, I better not try that right now. That might be a disaster. But I will try to sort that out for sure. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to get your last questions or comments out there, I would be ever so grateful. But again, you guys, thank you. I have been like going back and forth about certain things with this coronation, and mostly I do feel like it's a big waste of time and a big waste of money. I think even if you forget about the financial struggles that are going on right now and just consider how unpopular Charles is, and the worst way to treat people is to try to force yourself upon them, and that's what Charles is doing. He's trying to create a certain I don't know, what is he doing? What is he doing? What is Charles doing? And why is he doing it? I think it's a big mistake. I think it's a big mistake, except that you're unpopular. You have made a mockery of your position. You're making a mockery of the church. And I think that if you start from there, I don't know whether you're religious or not. I won't say that I am the most religious person, but like so many other people, I am extremely spiritual. I do believe in prayer and those things that, basically most spiritual people do. But I also am not one to casually mock religion. I don't casually mock creation and such. So I think it really like the famous thing about the Titanic when they said it was unsinkable, and one of the passengers, or was it the mother of one of the passengers, said that she felt uncomfortable about that. She said because to say something is unsinkable flies in the face of God, and that's like mocking the creator, and you just don't do that. And I just feel like this whole thing with the coronation, this religious ceremony, almost seems to be a little bit pagan in some ways, but this very religious ceremony, you bring in oil from Mount Olive, from the Church of the Sepulchre, or wherever it comes from, and Camilla is there. Camilla is there. I mean, let's just say that, and I don't hate Camilla. I don't know Camilla. I don't care about Camilla, but it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. And even considering how she got into the position that she's in. It's like she's walking over Diana's dead body. It's gross. It's gross. And even if people don't say it, that's how a lot of people feel. That's how I feel. I feel like they're having a party at Althorpe, right there on the same island where Diana is buried. You use Diana's designer. You want to go to Paris. It seemed like the last place you would want to go is to Paris. This chick wants to go to Paris. And then to really test people's patience, oh, we're going to go to Versailles. I just feel very strange about the whole thing. I'm just like, is anybody else seeing this? Is anybody else seeing this? This is like the way I felt when Donald Trump was in the White House. Every day seemed like it was some kind of a dream and that this is not real. And when I wake up, I'm going to see that life isn't exactly what it appears to be. But yet, in front of everybody in the world, Charles pushed and pushed and pushed Camilla onto the world stage. They're not hiding her out anymore. She's in people's face now. And they just want us to look at it like it's normal. And that's just weird to me. I just can't get on board with that. I cannot get on board with that. And maybe it's because of the way I feel about Harry and watching Harry grow up and seeing the way Harry experienced things. Maybe that's what it is. But whatever it is, it just seems mighty strange to me. And I just feel like somebody's opening up something that should stay closed. Right? That's what it feels like. It's like don't open that up. The it's like opening up a tomb, and you got like some spell that says, "He who opens this up." I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I feel. I feel like they're opening up something that should remain closed. Karina Reyna, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for listening to me babble on like this. But yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like something is something that should not be messed with. It's just like when somebody, like I always say, if you have a song that is flawless, not only should nobody else sing it, right? Also, nobody else, even the person who made it, shouldn't keep singing it. Is perfection? Leave it alone. So this is not perfection, and still they won't leave it alone. Sonia Johnson says, Baron, I feel the same way. I can't get on board at all. Yeah, I mean, it's not even that I feel like I'm obligated to support the situation, but I feel a sense of dread, not just for Harry, but for everybody involved. It feels odd. It feels odd. It feels odd, and to know that Camilla is going to walk into Westminster Abbey. She's going to be crowned. It just doesn't seem right. It does not seem right. It seems so odd to me. Let me see. Chuck having a piece of Christ. Yes, Marshall. Yes. I'm like, he's not supposed to have that. Yes. Oh, that's a good way to put it. It feels unclean, is what it is. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That is what I have been mumbling around trying to get out of my mouth. It feels unclean. It feels unclean. That's what it feels like. Thank you so much for that silly outcome. It feels unclean. It feels shady and you guys, thank you so much for helping me out because I didn't know, I didn't have the words to say what I was feeling, but I just feel like I feel, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Even I'm not a British subject. I'm none of those things, but it just feels odd to me. And I'm just like, yeah, maybe you all shouldn't do this. That's how I'm feeling. It's like, maybe you all shouldn't do this. Think twice before you do this. That is how I feel about it. So, I guess there's nothing to be said or anything like that. It's gonna happen, but uh, yeah, if you must, but don't say I didn't tell you so, right? That's what it's like, one of those things. Don't say I didn't tell you so. I'm not expecting lightning to like penetrate the roof of Westminster Abbey, but what an odd feeling. That's all I can say is I feel rather odd and kind of out of sorts about it, but it's not my problem. It doesn't concern me. Harry is going to go and he's going to you know, do his duty as a prince of the realm, and then he's going to go back home and he's going to be there for Archie's birthday, and it'll be like it never happened. Oh, yes, it will, because then we got to keep seeing her. Okay, so yeah, you guys, I'm done for today. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. I actually have an appointment in 45 minutes, so I got plenty time to make it. I made sure I had everything ready. But yeah, thank you, and thank you to the Mod Squad moderators for keeping this a safe space. And let's see, and thank you for your donations to Royal Sussex. Always appreciate it. Let me see what else. I guess that's it. And then maybe after it's all over with, maybe this odd feeling that I have, this feeling of oddness, maybe that'll just go away after the coronation, I guess. Let me see here. Let me see. Diamond Blue, did I thank you for that? I think so, but thank you again. All right. Oh, let me scroll. I've been kind of stuck in the same place. Oh, let me see. My pastor thinks it's an abomination that Charles should relinquish his attachment to the church. 1960? I keep hearing that. You see, that's what I mean. I keep hearing stuff like that. And it's like, I just don't want Harry in that space. I don't want Harry in that space. Right? That's that. Maybe that's what I'm feeling. Maybe I just don't want Harry in that space. But yeah, that's part of what I'm feeling is that it just, I'm just like, why do they think this is okay? Why do they think this is okay? And why aren't more people saying stuff about it? So okay, thank you. You guys are helping me out because I am just kind of weird about it. Black Queen says, there's Meg. What is that? There's M. Is that Megan? I'm sorry. I am Jamaican as well. That's where I was traumatized. They used to fly around in and out of the house, and I was raised in St. Elizabeth countryside. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Oh, is that for someone else, right? All right, I think that's for someone else. Okay. Let me see here. Let me scroll because I'm probably way behind. I am. I'm still looking at Marshar's thing here. Let me see. Sister says, Baron, it's like they're opening up an evil portal. Again, they use paganism to shield and cover their real religion to make it acceptable to the masses by calling it the Church of England. Now, you know what? That's something to think about. That is something to think about. Okay. Yeah, but that is something to think about. It's just odd. It is odd. But I've been seeing stuff about that, and I'm just like, well, why is it all of a sudden people are discussing the religious angle of this? And maybe that's what I feel weird about, is that I keep hearing people make references to what this means for the church and the religious angle of it. So maybe that's what it is. Let me see here. Oh, is that how you do that? Okay. All right. So anyway, announcement. I believe Elaine Parker, I think you're a moderator now. Did you know that, Elaine? Elaine Parker, I think you're a moderator now. So if you don't see your wrench now, you might see it next time. Just remember, Elaine, uneasy lies the head that bears the crown. That's right, guys. There is a new sheriff in town, Sheriff Elaine Parker. Elaine, please use thy power wisely, and don't take no stuff off of nobody either. Yeah, but there you go, Sheriff Elaine Parker. Let me see. The closer it gets, the more it rubs people the wrong way. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Diamond Blue. Thank you. Okay. I don't see the wrench yet, but I'm sure it's there. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see the wrench yet, but it should be there next time. I just refreshed my page. I still don't see it. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go. I got my appointment this afternoon. I'm still looking. I don't see it. Constable Parker, I don't see it. Nope. Do you all see it? Yes, there it is. I see the wrench. Yeah, Elaine, go ahead and put somebody on timeout so we can see if it works. You go ahead and put somebody on the timeout. Let me see. Well, I'll let you decide. But yeah, just put somebody on the timeout so we can see if it worked. Somebody you've been like thinking about for a while and you just didn't know when. But yeah, put them on timeout and see how they go. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. I will see you all next time. Love you. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Thursday. Now, I think tomorrow I may start late because I got my aunt tomorrow, so I'm probably going to start late. Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, so then tomorrow I'll probably start late. But okay, you guys, thank you very much. I will see you. Love you. And I'm going to cue Ginger Avenger. And don't worry, Diana, we're not going to let them ruin your memory. And Doria, you know, we always got your back. Oh, cool, Elaine. Very cool. Congratulations. Okay, see you guys. And what am I forgetting? Oh, the last word of the day. That's it. I'm forgetting the last word. Yeah, that's it. Congratulations, Elaine Parker. That's the last word. Okay, gotta go. And where is it? There it is. There's a new girl in town and she's looking good. Got a smile, got a song for the neighborhood. There's a new girl in town and she's going to be a moderator. So I used to love that theme song to Alice. La 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 la. And then of course, my favorite part was fum 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 fum. Okay. So anyway, I think my attempt to chase Joan Garcia's companion out of the room didn't work last time. Let's see if that did it. Okay, see you guys.